Hey, it's producer Rob. We've got Jeff and we've got Bart over here.
Guys.
Thanks for tuning in. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much.
Yes.
If you're listening to us right now, that means you're not seeing us, but you can see us if you want to. Just go to Jeep Beach Official on YouTube, and you'll be able to find out everything that we've done in the past, most of them anyway.
That's a scary thought.
Videos. Yeah. And if you are watching this and you want the audio portion of it, all your favorite podcast platforms will cover that.
Yes.
So, ready for the show?
Ready.
You ready?
Yes,
We're ready.
Thanks for tuning in. Here we go.
It's now time for another episode of the Off-Road Toolbox. A Jeepers guide to everything off-road. Powered by Best Price Trailers.
So we're going overseas.
Maybe.
We're gonna.
Maybe.
We hope we'll try
That's
to.
what yes.
We're still overland talking. But this is
International
gonna be
overlanding.
international
We're going to do
overland.
some international, whether it be South America, Canada,
Canada, Mexico.
Mexico,
Yes.
Europe,
Yes. Africa,
Africa, Australia.
Australia, New Zealand, all the fun places. Yeah.
I've never been there. I've been in Australia.
Haven't been to Australia. I should have gone when I was in Guam. I should have just because it was a 3.5 hour flight. So I should have taken a long route home, but I didn't.
Mine was a 6-month.
A little bit longer. A little bit longer.
You guys are international trustee. You guys were in the service, so
I was a contractor.
You were a contractor,
Yeah,
so you
Contractor. I was in the Navy.
you were in the Navy, so you were able to do and experience that. Unless it's a cruise, for me, I don't usually leave.
That's
Florida.
what they told us it was. It was a cruise.
It was a cruise.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess it was.
Mediterranean cruise.
You get to go to the
Indian
ports.
Ocean, Indian Ocean cruise.
Did you
Yes.
get off at the ports?
When I was allowed to, yes.
Okay, when you were allowed to.
Were you in trouble?
You were in trouble a lot then. Okay, he was. He was in
I
trouble a
plead the
lot.
fifth on that.
All right.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Now we're
That
talking about
happens.
also not just going there, but bringing our Jeeps, with
Yes.
us, or
Jeeps,
vehicles.
Any
Vehicles,
vehicle.
yeah.
I mean, so things you got to plan. You really
Yes.
do. I started reading deep into it, and I'm kind of like, is it worth it? Like, if to go overseas to Europe, it's quite expensive.
Yes.
Anywhere from 2,000 on up.
Yes.
To get your vehicle over there.
And that's not including yourself.
That's
No,
not including
no.
yourself. That's just your vehicle.
And you got to fit in the Connex. So,
Depends on how you're sending it over.
What?
You can fly it over.
okay.
You can ship it over on the ship.
Yes.
Or there's a couple other shipping companies that you can send it on that's open air.
No, the roll-ons, the Rolos.
Yes.
I wouldn't do a Rolo.
I know.
You're too exposed.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, a Connex, the big metal
Big metal box.
Shipping containers?
shipping
Yep.
containers.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
A lot of people do that, but you got to make sure your vehicle fits inside of it. So
Those
depending-
lifted?
so you're not going to go over a 2 or 2.5 inch lift.
Well-
You're not going to go over 33 to 35 inch tires.
Well, here's the thing.
I think they
When
say 33
Now,
is
when
max.
you got to also have to abide by the laws of the country you're going to, and
that's-
if they don't allow big tires, big lifts, you can't
Yep.
drive it there.
that's yes.
See, and that's all. That's all
planning.
the things that come in the planning.
Yes.
Of where I want to go. What can I do?
Yes.
So,
Insurances. When you go to these companies or countries, you have to have all types of insurance.
Yeah.
Geico going to say, all right, no problem. You total it over in Guam. You'll be fine? I don't think so.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't go down that rabbit hole yet.
All right.
So anyway, you got to plan your trip if you're going overseas for sure. If you're going to stay like here in America and you're going to go to Canada or down to Mexico, there's a few different things that you have to do.
2 different places.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little safer in Canada than I am in some parts of Mexico. Is that safe to say?
Well, that's it.
Sure it is. I mean, that's Mexico.
Mexico's got a lot of cartel,
it's
drug
dangerous.
issues, a lot of...
It's dangerous in Texas, for crying out loud, near the border.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
Yes.
Arizona,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yes.
But
Southern California.
maybe that'll change this next 4 years.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. And there's a lot, there's a lot more to it. Yeah. And now it's interesting. I used to track vehicles used in terrorism all over the country.
Okay.
Especially when I was in Iraq. And they would be stolen. They'd either go to Texas or go to Miami, and they'd be shipped over.
Miami, when I lived down there, your vehicle was fair game.
Yes, there, and then they would drive into Mexico, and then from Mexico it would get shipped. So if you had a Suburban or a Tahoe, those were the big ones, because that's what all the government people were using. Even the military were using them, so they were stealing them left and right. And then
Then they went to the Toyota pickup trucks.
that's internet. But Toyota is the number one.
Yeah, they're the number one truck
Technical.
of. They're the number one. Well, they're the number one manufacturer for terrorists.
Yes.
They use it because they're reliable vehicles. I'm just going to tell
Well,
you.
no, and they also sell them there. So
They sell them all over the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, the Honda Accord was a big one down there.
That was for being stolen. Yes, all the time and getting
Probably
shipped
not going
worldwide.
to steal a Fiat if you had one of those, right? I don't think. I guess it would be fair game, but could you see him driving a Fiat over in Afghanistan?
Four-wheel drives were big going to South and Central America for the cartels, though, for the drug trade and the human trafficking, because they go anywhere.
Right.
So for a long time, the pickup trucks, the Jeeps, the good vehicle. I'm not saying some of the other ones, the Suburbans and Tahoes, aren't as off-road capable as.
But they're still high on the list now.
They're still in the high on the list.
I mean, Sam, that was Cracker Ranch with us that year.
Yeah.
He says,
Yeah.
that stuff is still in high demand.
High demand, yes.
He says no matter what they do, try to get it away from it, they still take them and do their thing. So, but anyway, so
sorry, folks, we got off on another rabbit hole. Saw another squirrel.
Okay, that's all right. So now the part of international travel that we're going to do, or you're going to discuss,
Yes.
is it? Do you have like the prices and all of that, or is it?
You're going to have to go by location, so we can't give you.
I can't give you exact. I mean, like to go to South America, it's basically crossing the borders, your fuel and all that. But if you're going to be going over to Europe or Africa or something like that, now you're including shipping, setting your vehicle up, inspections, insurance, and all that.
Yeah. Clearing customs.
Yes. It's a whole nother can of worms if you're shipping.
Okay,
yes.
Right.
Now we see people coming from Australia and all parts of the world coming to America. I guess it's easier to come here.
It is easier to come here because my little brother had CJ7 that he had in Sweden, and he shipped it over here. And it was easier for him to get it here than it was to take it back.
Yeah.
So he just left it here.
Interesting stuff.
Still here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's a silver one.
Okay.
The silver Jeep.
Okay.
But yeah. So you got to talk about the modifications, which we kind of did right then.
Yep.
A lot of countries do not allow lifted vehicles. They don't allow wide tires. It's got to be inside the fender wells.
Correct.
It's almost basically got to be stock. So if you're looking at going overseas, look very hard at those requirements of where you're going and what is allowed.
Australia, I think we had mentioned this in an earlier episode. I believe Old Man Emu is a manufacturer of lifts, but they only do like 3-inch lifts or 2-inch lifts.
2 or 2.5-inch lifts.
Because they're made in Australia,
and that's all they're allowed.
And that's they're allowed. Yeah,
that's what they're allowed. And actually, the fender, your tires can extend over your fender well in Australia.
No kidding.
I want to say it's a stock fender well. It's not an extended fender well.
Correct. It's a stock fender well.
So the metal cloak fenders that are so cool would not be allowed over there.
Yeah.
And if you look online and you're even YouTube or just picture surfing, you'll see that there's none of that stuff over there.
No.
So.
No 40-inch tires.
Nah, no 40-inch tires.
Sorry, folks. And actually, because they talk about it a lot, coming to America, and it's like, this is great. You can off-road, you can do this stuff, you can modify your vehicles, you can have fun. And over there, it's...
You can have fun, but it's within stock limits.
Yes.
So the typical breaking points are going to always happen for a lot of those because of that.
You could probably upgrade like your axles and whatnot, but it's still going to have to be within the spec.
Yes.
So
again, you're only strong as your weakest point. If your tires are little, same things are going to break.
So, but then skid plates come in a lot because if you're gonna go with a stock or close to stock, I would protect the underneath.
Oh, without a doubt,
full front to rear skid plate.
Yeah.
Right.
Armor plating.
Yes.
But you got to be able to take that down. You got to be able.
Well,
to
they have access points, so if you need to change oil, do things,
and also if you get mud caked in there and all of that,
you have to clean it all out.
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. What else?
One of the things I did learn is Rock Auto can ship worldwide, and it's usually 5 to 7 days to get to you.
That would be cool.
So when people, remember we talked about the guy, the road chose me. That's the reason why he chose a Jeep, because Jeeps were in so many parts of the world, and he could get parts for them. And if he couldn't, he could get Rock Auto, and they could ship it to him, and it would be there in 5 to 7 days.
Cool.
That is kind of.
Yeah,
or then Toyota would be the next one. I would say there's so many Toyotas all over the world.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
And Toyota's a formidable competitor.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. And a good vehicle.
oh, yeah.
I mean,
I had a Toyota. I loved it.
my wife has a 4Runner.
I had a little 2-door truck.
I'll bet
I
you
had
that still could be running right now. Those things will run forever.
My Tundra ran forever till my stepson got to it. But other than that,
Actually, my Toyota is still running around in the land.
There you go. I mean, those things will run
Throw it.
forever.
I think it's had 2 motors put in it.
Yeah.
And it's still running. So, things to think about is your coverage for your insurance, what we kind of
Yep.
brushed across.
fuel. Let's talk about fuel.
Yeah.
Bring a small glass like a mason jar or smaller. To put before you pump the fuel into your vehicle, put a sample in a glass jar to see what's in it.
Yep. Because you never know.
You can get water in it. You can have all types of other things. It could be really dirty. It could be bad.
What do you do then? Do you have a filtration system that you can actually
Go to a
run it
different
through?
gas station.
Just go to a different gas station.
Yeah, you have to because it's so bad, especially with diesel because you'll find a lot of water. You'll find a lot of, and they'll try to dilute to get more out of
Oh,
it.
and you can tell if you
As soon as you
that
put it in the
glass.
glass jar, you put it in the glass so you
it's-
can see it.
Just let it sit there for about a minute
Yep.
and a half.
Yep.
and
See
it'll
it separate.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, if you have sediment and that's all you see, you could probably filter some of that if you had
It's going to be a long process
It's a
to
long
fuel
process.
yeah.
And then you got to carry spare fuel filters.
That or you
That's
go
it.
to a remote fuel filter.
Yes. And actually, there's people who will put in a separate fuel filter so that you can drain it, clean it, and do it like on the old
Like on the diesels.
Diesels, yeah.
Yep. Was. All right. So another thing to think about is currency.
Yes. In every country you go into, you're going to have go currency.
And exchange rates.
Yes. You can get credit cards, but even the credit card, you have to watch the rates on the international
Yeah.
exchange.
And then you get charged every time you use it.
So, but there's some that are better than others.
Yes. And it's on any of that type stuff.
Yes.
Even here that you buy a gift card, you get charged whenever you
Yes.
do. So you kind of got to think that through.
Embassy check-ins. I would check in with your embassy when you're going through these countries, checking in and checking out with your local embassy in case you get stuck someplace for some reason
Or disappear.
or disappear.
And that could happen.
And then the international driver's license that you actually get from AAA. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
So you can go to AAA and you can get it's an international driver's license. And we were on assignment and everybody got held up because I was the only one with an international driver's license. And we're on a government contract doing things, but we weren't black passport. Black passport is immunity. I mean, we could do whatever. So that assignment wasn't. And it was a buddy who said, go get, the international driver's license. You get it at AAA. They recognized it, but they wouldn't recognize anybody's state driver's license.
No kidding. AAA.
I'm serious.
Oh, man.
So again, it's something to think about because they will,
It is.
because you won't be able to drive,
No. Or if you
or
get
you got to
caught,
pay. You got to pay a lot of money.
pay a lot of money, or you end up in the Gray Bar Hotel,
Yes.
and then you're there for God only knows how long.
And hotels in foreign countries are bad.
All right, back up. We got to just clarify Gray Bar Hotel.
Jail.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Because some of this lingo, you guys know, we may, but somebody's like, what's a Gray Bar Hotel? Is it
And
like
if
a
you
chain?
haven't, if you haven't seen some of these, they're bad. I mean, you're talking a bucket to use as a bathroom. If you have a bucket,
If you have a bucket.
If you
if you have a
have
bucket, you're talking dingy, dank, smelly, bad.
And
Yes.
if it's an open type, like in Mexico,
Yes.
no.
Bugs, snakes.
Bug snakes,
Everything.
people wanting to hurt you.
Yes.
So if you're not part of a
Yes.
clan,
Yes.
you're fair game.
Yes.
Okay. So safety, health, and emergency preparations,
Yep.
health preparations, you want to get your immunizations.
Good point. All your shots. And,
All
and
your
carry
shots.
carry a copy of your shot records.
Yep. Also, don't be afraid to take the malaria pill.
So I didn't bring it this time. I'm remiss. I had it last time. The Jace medical kit.
Yes.
There's two companies that so you can. So the nice thing is you can get a lot of prescriptions or antibiotics, whatever you need, in foreign countries, but you have to be in a city that has it.
Right.
So if you pre-plan, even traveling in the U.S. now, I carry that small the Jace medical kit because I have a whole bunch of prescriptions. You go through the process, you get interviewed by a doctor, and they give you this. So you have a whole bunch of things. Well, it's the malaria. We had on the coming home from Africa, I took the malaria drug, but I took it every other day, or I took half because it can upset your stomach.
Yes,
right?
very much so.
So the female counterpart didn't. She got bit by a mosquito at the airport, and then when she landed in D.C. 2 days later, she had malaria.
Yeah.
Now, how do you treat malaria? Just another. Is it medicine, or you
It
just
doesn't
gotta-
actually ever go away.
No, I think you carry it in your system.
You carry. I mean, I know people now who can't get it anymore because they've had it 3 or 4 times.
Oh wow.
Yes, you go on medication, but it does its damage. It's just interesting. So I had leftover the malaria drug. So when I got COVID, that's what cleared me of COVID, was that malaria drug, because it's besides malaria, it's used to fight pneumonia
Okay.
and respiratory diseases. So again, knowing what's going in there, I mean, look at all the drugs and all the illnesses wherever you're going, Central and South America, like Ebola, and I mean, there's some nasty things in the world.
Ebola or E. coli?
Both,
Okay.
Yeah.
both, all types. There's everything that you can think about that you can get, and it's interesting is some of the viruses can survive cold. So even though you boil them, they're okay, but then they can later on digest. But I didn't know this, that so people think it's okay to drink iced water or the ice. Well, your bacteria can be in the ice, and then when it gets in your stomach, it rehatches.
Yes.
So people need, there's so much you need. So when you go travel overseas, maybe.
Elton's Antibiotics and Infectious Disease.
Oh, these are books that I had to learn, read, and study when I traveled the world.
You still got little bookmarks inside.
So
too,
because there's key points in them, you know. So I mean, this is not
the ultimate
This
survival.
guy-
What's
and
the
this-
difference between the big one and that little one right there, or the one you're holding?
If I had to do over again, we had to buy them for different assignments.
Okay.
This one pretty much carries a lot of stuff. This
Okay.
carries everything.
That's the guide. The other's the handbook.
Yes,
Okay.
and then and so we had to learn about infectious diseases, because even though we could call people, so we could call a doctor and get some help and get some stuff, you know, or hopefully if you had cell phone service or
Right.
Doctor
internet.
on demand.
Yeah, we did. We actually had to do it, and
As we call it, doc in a box.
or make sure you have global rescue. Make sure you have something, so if you get sick and you have to come home, that you have, because it could be tens of thousands of dollars.
And I will tell you in a little story about a friend that I made in the hospital that got double lung transplant. She went on a cruise.
Yep.
Got sick on the cruise. They put her off in Mexico.
No.
Oh, in Mexico.
Yep.
Enough said.
And she had to pay both her hospital bill
Yep.
and have money to be able to be airlifted out
Yes.
before they would release her.
And I've known people who've gone to other parts of it. You've gotten sick from different things, or you get into a car accident. So imagine being in a car accident and you're really banged up and trying to get on an airplane to come home versus going on a separate airplane that lets you lay down and has treatment. So having, I only one I know of is Global Rescue. I'm sure there's some other.
Right.
I mean, we had some other things that we'd come back on Mill Air, but there were some assignments that we didn't come back
You
on.
couldn't because you had to be commercialed.
Yes, we had to be commercial. So but they had, there's another international plan too, but that's a government one. But same thing is, so if I had to be, transported home in a bed, they had the aircraft to do it and didn't have to pay for it. So
I was actually going to do some of the transporting from the States to overseas and back.
that'd have been cool.
Yeah, air ambulance.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That'd have been a fun
The
time.
only thing is it wouldn't work with my schedule because a lot of times they get over to like Greenland,
Yes.
be snowed in or
Yes.
iced in,
Yes.
and you're stuck there for a week.
Yes.
And I have to
Greenland,
get
the
back-
51st state.
So maybe when you retire, that'll be your retirement job.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, because you could work it when you want to work it,
Oh yeah,
and then
and
yes,
they're based out of Fort Lauderdale.
yes, that would be cool. That would actually be.
That would be really cool.
It would be, because then you get to.
That'd be a podcast worth. I mean, you'd have people viewing that. I mean, whatever.
Yes.
Oh, just to, there is, by the way, just not to, but this is international travel.
Yep.
There's a guy who goes and I follow him on Facebook, and he goes and he'll show all these airplanes. He's a pilot, and he's got another guy. They go and they pick these planes up for people.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
Yes.
jets,
Yes.
but they're
Yes.
always empty.
Yep.
Sometimes
Yes.
they're brand new, no seats in them.
Yep. Yep.
When he goes different countries.
Yep.
And it's really cool. I forgot the dude's name, but he's on Facebook and he's always, hey, all right, today we're going to blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yep,
And he's up in the plane. Sometimes he'll show the cockpit
Yep.
and what it does. I mean, it's an interesting follow.
Yep, and that's even on the maritime side. My brother and I'd get off from work and have
Right.
8 days off. We'd hop up to North America there and bring some stuff down to Fort Lauderdale. So it's a big industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, back on track here.
Yes.
So health, like you said, communication devices.
Now, some countries don't let you have inReach.
Right. So
Really?
you have to have satellite.
You have to have, yes, or even now Starlink. So
Starlink?
now some places Starlink's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Elon
And
Musk,
it-
right? Yeah.
It's not. It's only because of the country is so restrictive. They don't want people to have outside information and outside communications.
Russia.
Yes, China,
North Korea.
China.
North Korea. Yeah,
The
yeah.
communist.
And actually parts of Africa. There's parts of Africa that you had to what you could bring, what you couldn't bring in there. But so make sure if you bring an inReach or a satellite system, whatever it is, even Starlink,
It's allowed.
it's allowed, so you don't get charged with it.
Exactly.
Cell phones work in a lot of places, but you have to change SIMS cards. So you have to get a cell phone there that in every country you'll be swapping out a SIMS card.
Correct. That could get quite expensive.
If you didn't know that. So yes.
So your own cell phone won't work.
A lot of
It
times
depends.
what country
It depends
is.
on what country it is,
Yeah.
because then you just have your plan switched over to international.
Yes.
Right.
But they are limited as to where they would.
Be an interesting guest when we get to Jeep Beach. We do have some people who come over, Jeepers who come over from overseas.
Yes.
Sweden and all that.
From
yeah.
Sweden. That would be an interest just to talk to them about the international travel.
Yes.
And
What
how
they
it
go through and
affects
how they do it.
Yeah, everything. That would be. We got to put a pin in that one.
Yep.
Okay.
But that was something that I did. Is every country I went into, or once I got to an area, I would get a local cell phone, and then if I had needed SIMS cards or prepaid cards or whatever, so I could have comms besides my regular cell phone. Now, if you have Wi-Fi, you can use
Computer.
like WhatsApp or one of the other
Yep.
ones. You can use some, but it's again, know what's in your area, know what's going to work, know what's going to work in remote areas where you have nothing.
Exactly. So, all right, then we're going to go on to cultural etiquette.
Oh man.
There is so much.
Oh yes. So we used to have to get these little.
Iraq Visual Language Survival Guide.
So we used to have different ones for different things, but culturally, so you don't get arrested
Oh yeah.
for something you didn't think about.
I mean, that's in my field of work right now. We have to follow the culture of whoever we're taking care of.
There are these inner ear things now. Like not headphone, but little translators that you can buy them. I see them in the TikTok shop and all the social medias where you could actually someone doesn't speak our language, English.
Yes.
This is
There's
for you.
believe it or not, there's translators that you can put on your phone.
Yeah.
That will do. And that's kind of what we use at the hospital if we have to talk to somebody that doesn't speak English.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We either use a call system that we call out to a translator, or we have the translator that's on our work phones.
Very interesting.
And you don't want to offend. You don't want to go to jail. You don't.
No.
I mean,
you want to make sure you're. Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Like I went to Greece, and you're not supposed to use a certain hand.
Yes.
To shake with.
Correct.
Because
it's used for washing other things. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
See now. Obviously,
you wouldn't think about that.
See, because here we cater to. Well, hey, we're pretty open. Whatever your culture is, we're
in some
pretty.
Like you can't wear shorts.
Really?
There's some countries, men, or the only time they can wear shorts is on a soccer field. If you're not on a soccer field, they can't wear shorts, and you can be arrested for it. Wow. So yes.
So there really are. Those guides are good.
So you'd yes.
Anything interesting in that Iraq guide that you can kind of let's just pick something out real quick. I know you're laughing, but what it says, the hand, whatever.
It's got some word phrases.
It's like
okay. Yeah, in the back. Oh yeah.
Is that paper whipping you?
Yeah. Here we go.
So you can. Where are we at?
Okay. It's hard to see, but. Okay.
The little people. So you actually have figures.
Okay.
So you can point to it. So you can point to the figure to see is it, how many bad guys you have. Do they have bombs?
Male, female.
Yes.
How high?
Yep.
Do they have a bomb in their vehicle?
Do they have a bomb in their vehicle? And they tells you
Is it a car or is it a truck?
Yep. What else do we have here?
What kind of gun?
All types of guns. So you can point to the guns.
ID. Let's see here. Then you you can arrest them and you tell them with the picture to get down on the ground. Put your.
So we used to have to
So
learn
you got to
commands.
show, so you know the commands, what the
So
commands
we
are.
would learn, and on the other side is commands.
Commands.
Is actual commands.
And those are, what do they say? What?
So you'd have them in Arabic. So whether it's put your hands up.
How
show
do
your
you
hands.
how do you say put your hands up in Arabic?
You're gonna make me look right now.
Yes,
I don't
okay, just
remember.
pick one.
I don't remember one.
Pick one. Come on.
Kurdish, Fari, Darcy. Let me see here.
There's different.
Different dialects inside of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so drop your weapon. Wow, I'm not even going to try that one. Easiest one is for stop in Farsi is east.
East?
East.
Okay.
And then for hands up is dast la bala. So, I used to know yella, zien, kula zien. I my vocabulary in Arabic is gone. I had about a 200-word vocabulary.
You come upon any Kurds?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know between Turkey
gosh.
and, my goodness.
And so there are secular issues. You get into different neighborhoods, it could be secular issues.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
All right. So with that, let's go on to navigational challenges and tools for the international travel.
Okay.
So, do you want to carry a toolbox with you?
Something.
You got to carry.
You got it. You got to.
You got to, because things are going to break.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where you're at or who you are, it's going to break. You want to use some type of GPS, whether it be Gia or.
Did you know there's different systems for different parts of the world?
Yes.
So make sure whatever map you're using, that if you look on the data section of the map, it'll give you the reference. So you will change your GPS to that system.
Right.
Because otherwise,
it's looking at like America's
correct
satellites instead of
or
Germany's satellites.
how would they display it? So whether they're formatting.
Right.
So that makes a difference, big difference too.
Let's see. As you said, just that. How to check for road conditions.
Yes.
To get to where you're going.
Yes.
There's outlets for that.
Correct. Because you don't know, is the road open? Is it closed? Is
it passable? Can you do anything?
Is there bad roadblocks up where they're trying to rob you?
True. Oh, yeah.
You got to think about that.
Oh, yes. So basically, that's just the things that you need to think about. And like I said, shipping overseas is going to be the worst. Staying in stateside is probably going to be your better bet if you're in the United States. But if you're overseas already, you've got it licked, and you can go just about anywhere.
True.
So
we're lucky. We're very lucky.
Yes, we are. All right, Bart, what you got for us?
I've got one, but it's here in the U.S., but it's an interesting.
Hey, you see that idiot?
What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
What you think you're doing, you stupid idiot?
It's the Off-Road Toolbox Tool of the Day.
Are you some kind of moron?
This right here.
Is that a motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
There's a group out middle of nowheres doing a fun motorcycle ride, and the guy was only doing about 20 to 25 miles an hour, went through that little puddle, the handlebars twisted on him.
Oh, man.
He went over the handlebars.
Oh, jeez.
And they picked him up. They thought he was okay. They checked him out. They drove not even a mile or two later. And then they came across this next one, and he fell off the bike.
Oh, wow.
Just went down. So they ended up hitting their EPIRB. So EPIRBs you can pretty much carry any place in the world, or the personal locating beacon. They're one-way system, but they ended up hitting it for the person, which ended up saving his life because he had a brain bleed, and he went over the handlebars, he caught it, and it ruptured his spleen.
Oh, boy.
Yep. That's usually what happens when you go over the handlebars,
Go over
or pulls your pelvis apart.
Yeah.
Impact.
So again, had he not, this could happen any place in the world, but he had the EPIRB, and they were able
That's
to
what saved his life.
Saved his, and actually it was the riders behind him in the group that had it.
Is that a chopper in the
It's
back?
a helicopter coming in.
Life flight.
That's a lifeline, right?
Yep.
Life
Yep.
flight.
Really good.
Life
Really
flight, right?
good. Again, it's only one-way communication. I mean, you put it up, you say you need help, and based upon the location is, again, they glad they sent a helicopter, but
Wow.
yeah, and
is
all that
crazy.
stuff matters. But yes, so wherever you're at in the world, something simple and not even a high speed.
Yeah.
I mean, not even high speed, and having fun, just going through. It twisted the handlebars, boom.
Yeah. That's sad, but it happens. It
Yes.
even happens at home.
Yes, it does.
I mean, you can fall 6 foot and be a
Yes.
trauma alert. So
Yes.
all right. So with that, guys, we appreciate y'all listening in. We appreciate
How do you say goodbye in Kurd? Come on.
You're making me work here.
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
You have this cool little thing that nobody has.
Date, time, hands up, don't move. Please, goodbye.
There you go, goodbye.
They don't have it.
Goodbye.
They don't have it. I'm looking for goodbye. I'm saying it
okay.
out loud.
Oh,
Hold on,
I
how
thought
much?
that was a.
They don't have that.
They don't have goodbye.
They don't have goodbye.
Wait, I see it. It says deuces.
With that, folks, I'll leave it at that.
I will just leave it at that then. Okay.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great one. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And there you have it. Don't you feel smarter now? We'll drop more knowledge on you soon. Thanks for listening to the Off-Road Toolbox, powered by Best Price Trailers.